Hey guys, this is Carl, and this is week 6, problem number 4. We'll go ahead and kind of get started. Give you a sense of in framing the question when you hear confidence interval and you hear percentages, you hear all those things. What can you get to that? What can you get from that? Rather, what does it mean really? And that's what these kinds of questions going to get you at. From a survey of coworkers, you find that 42% of 375 have already received the swine flu vaccine, and an approximate 95% confidence interval, 4.4, 0.5. Which of the following are true? So we're going to just kind of go through one by one. 95% of the coworkers fall within the interval. Is that what that means? False. Doesn't make any sense because workers are not proportions. 2. We are 95% confident that the proportion of workers who have received this year's swine flu is between 40 and 50%. True. And what is that? Look at, if you notice the difference, it's a very nuanced difference. 95% of the coworkers fall within, and 9% of we're 95% confident that the proportion of coworkers that receive this swine flu vaccine, is between 40 and 50%. You see, the framing of the question is different, or framing of the statement. 95% of coworkers fall within. That's not what that means. We can never know this without actually knowing the proportions. But we can know that with the 95% certainty that the proportion of workers are between 40 and 50%. See how the difference is there. Number 3, there is a 95% chance that a random selected worker has received the vaccine. False. There is not enough information to make an absolute statement about the population value with certainty. Exactly. 95% chance a random selected worker receives the vaccine. That's not the case because this is really 95% is a confidence interval. We're saying with 95% certainty that the proportion of coworkers who receive the swine flu vaccine is 40 to 50%. That's what this value means, and that's not what this statement says. Number 4, there's a 42% chance a randomly selected coworker has received the vaccine. False. The 42% just comes from the survey number. This is really your sample size when you think about it. 42% of the workforce. So, number 5, we are 95% confident that between 40 and 50% of the samples will have a proportion near 42%. Again, it's not true because the way it's framing, this number is not anything to do with the actual number of people receiving the swine flu vaccine. It's actually dealing with those that have that are part of the sample, 42% of the 375. And the 40 and 50%, this is correct, confident between 40 and 50%, but as we noticed in this statement, number 2, which is true, 95% confident that the proportion of workers who receive this vaccine. Now, proportion of workers just means what's the rate? That's really what it's getting at. So the swine flu vaccine, what's the approximate confidence interval that that statement's true? So what it means and what you're getting at is that proportion means that the rate of the coworkers receiving the vaccine is 40 to 50%, the 95% confidence interval. So just to give you a sense and kind of really hammering down on this detail, just to make sure, because when you hear this and you say a 95% confidence interval, it's really kind of saying that you're 95% confident that whatever you're studying, be it coworkers, be it whatever, and then the outcome that you are confident within the certain, in this case 40 to 50% of your study group or study measure, that it's the case. So that's really kind of getting at it. 95% confidence interval is the standard. You go higher, 99%. Usually 95% is the standard. So we just hope this helps, and just let us know if you have any questions along the way. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.